Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show. Real talk, big opinions, and fearless conversations. From the front lines of politics to the latest in pop culture. From breaking sports headlines to the stories that move the world. Nothing's off limits, and nobody's holding back. Arrington Gavin is here to break it down, build it up, and keep it all the way real. So turn it up, lean in, and let's get into it. This is the Arrington Gavin Show.
Hey, what's happening, y'all? Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show, your go-to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day. Whether it's politics, sports, pop culture, or the latest buzz, look, we're diving deep and keeping it real, so please do me a favor, kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. On today's conversation, we are going to chop it up about former Vice President Kamala Harris's new book. She has a new book out called 107 Days. So she's been on a tour on all mostly liberal media outlets speaking about her new book, which documents her 107 days that she had to possibly win an election. And so, and I say possibly because she ended up not winning, but at the end of the day, it's unheard of for folks saying, look, I have to create a presidential campaign and we have to do what we can to possibly win. And all we have is 107 days when most candidates will have for presidency, folks start campaigning 3 years in advance. 3 years at the minimum, maybe 2.5 to 2 years, but I'll say a good solid 3 years. They start campaigning for presidency. Like, look, we have folks now because it's election season happening in our cities, at local cities nationwide. Local elections, we have state elections happening, and those who are thinking about running for a higher level. Look, they're starting now and they don't have until, I don't know, like 3 years. The presidential presidency is over in 2028. So we're starting to see folks slowly but surely kind of come out of the woodworks. For example, like a Gavin Newsom out of California. He is obviously doing a lot you're seeing him a lot in the press because guess what? It's most likely that he is going to make an attempt to run for president. That's just my honest opinion, but we'll talk a little about that more on the show. In addition to that, look, there's a back and forth between two conservative known talkers, Mark Levin, Fox News host, as well as syndicated radio host, and Tucker Carlson, a former Fox News great, who at the time when he was at Fox News, he was number one 24/7. Now he is the founder of Tucker Carlson Network. He has his own media company, and there's some back and forth happening between the two. In addition to that, I had shared on a previous episode words that came out of Stephen A's mouth in regards to what's next for Kamala Harris. His words, not mine, said that her political career is over. It's over. And I shared my thoughts on that comment. And again, Stephen A. Smith is somebody I highly respect, and I think he had some valid points to it. Do I think Kamala Harris' political career is over? No, I don't. Do I think it'll be a minute before we see her back in the political spotlight? Possibly. But you know what they say? Go in, start making a run while you're still very relevant and still hot in a sense. Don't wait too long to the point where, okay, that momentum that you initially had is gone, because then you will really have to start from scratch and almost like you're a new candidate. So we're going to talk about it here on the Arrington Gavin Show. As always, y'all, thank you so much for taking 1 hour of your time to tune into the Arrington Gavin Show. I truly appreciate it. For those who happen to be watching us right now on YouTube, do me a favor, like, subscribe, share with a friend, share with family. I truly appreciate it. If you can do so, we want to continue to grow our viewership and our subscribers, which I'm seeing huge growth. daily, really daily. So I thank you so much. But and give us a thumbs up as well. Leave us a comment. It helps with our algorithm. Look, we have hell, even if you want to uh, leave a comment disagreeing with me, look, that's fine. It's all about conversation. That's what we thrive here on the Arrington Gavin show. So you can stream us on our YouTube channel. In addition to that, you can also stream us on Goatverse TV. You can check out past episodes on demand on Goatverse TV by downloading the app Goatverse TV on your App Store, Google Play Store, Roku, or Amazon Fire TV. In addition to the platforms where you can watch us, you can also and you can also check us out on Facebook as well. But you can also listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. We're available on all major podcast platforms. You can also listen to us on the radio airwaves. That's right. You can listen to us on the radio airwaves, like in New Orleans. That's right. You probably listen to us right now in New Orleans by way of WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about, you can tune into the Arrington Gavin show weeknights at 7 p.m. Central Time. Again, that's only on WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about. Then we're going to move on to the Metro Atlanta region to WDJY 99.1 FM Straight Talk. You can tune into the Arrington Gavin show weeknights at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, that's only on WDJY 99.1 FM Straight Talk. All right, my friends. Look, we don't have a fun fact today, but because I want to have as much time as I can to discuss everything happening in our world. We're still continuing to discuss the attack on freedom of speech, and what we're seeing is really it's an attack on liberal media. I've spoken about it time and time here on this program. It's the revenge tour. It's the age of spin that we're living in. At one point, there was a censorship on conservative media. Now that mostly conservative is in the lead, they're the leaders right now. They have the majority. They're now saying, "Oh, well, we gonna return the favor, and we gonna start censoring liberal media." But you know what's interesting? What I will say, we have seen, I think, we've seen a larger percentage of bipartisan support in this case with the censorship of liberal media than we did with conservative media. Let me explain. There was a period where you had individuals, and I'll say like a Steve Bannon, a Dan Bongino, who, if y'all ever notice, is the current deputy FBI director. But before he was in that position, he was a known conservative radio host and podcaster. Prior to that, he did have experience working, I think, in the Secret Service. But he made more of a name for himself in conservative media. So you had individuals like him. You had individuals like your current sitting president right now, Donald Trump. You had, I think I've already mentioned Steve Bannon. I'm not sure if Superior was Candace Owens. There were so many names that were being censored. That was banned off of social media platforms, banned off of YouTube, and so on and so on. I don't recall folks on the left saying, "Oh, well, that's their right. That's this, that." No, they were like, "Good riddance." That's what we're trying to see. And now we see it differently here in this case. So a while back, and I mean, I'll just say weeks prior, Jimmy Kimmel was off the air, was suspended indefinitely for his monologue that involved making a joke making a joke out of the situation of what happened to Charlie Kirk. Now, it was really the joke was aimed for Donald Trump. It wasn't towards Kirk or his family. He just happened to use his name in it, right? And his tragic story, tragic incident. And so they let him go. And after that, it's like, wait a minute, you suspended him for what? For that? For this? Come on now. And an outpouring support came on both sides. You had folks like Senator Rand Paul. You had a former congressman, I believe his last name was either Bacon, I think. I'm blanking on his name, but it was multiple folks. Ted Cruz was not a fan of that. Hell, even Joe Rogan did not like that. And Joe Rogan's no conservative, but Joe Rogan did endorse Donald Trump, which I say in time and time again, y'all. What I can't stand is the number of times folks who have voted Trump back in office, oh, now they want to talk smack and talk about how much they disagree with him and this and the other. And I'm like, you know what? I'm extremely PO'd the fact that you're saying this now, but yet you put in all your faith and all your marbles in one basket saying, I'm going to support this guy. Don't act so shocked like you didn't see this coming. That's my frustration. That is my frustration. And see, here's the thing. And this is just my theory on why Joe Rogan supported Trump. I've said this many times. Dana White and Donald Trump are like this. I mean, Dana White is a Trump loyalist. Okay, Dana White is also the boss of Joe Rogan, because set aside from Joe Rogan is an extremely successful man. He has a massive platform on his for his podcast. He is an icon in the world of podcasting, bar none. But set aside from that, he's also a UFC announcer and commentator, not UFC announcer, UFC commentator. And so he's employed, under Dana White. And I'm just thinking, hey, look, Joe Rogan's going to be a team player. Joe Rogan's going to be, he's going to respect authority in this case. And so he did. Majority of Rogan's circle is, I'm going to say, center right. Some of them might be, more moderate Republicans. I won't consider them far right. Now, a lot of far right comedians are supporters of Rogan. They do like Rogan. They're fans of him. But that's his side. That's his team. That's his base. And so when I hear folks like a Rogan criticizing Trump on the freedom of speech, especially, where Kimmel is a comedian and not a journalist, okay? It really irritates me when I hear folks speak their frustration, those who supported Trump, especially those who supported Trump in multiple elections. Like, here's the thing, those who supported him in multiple elections, they're quiet. What can you honestly say has been doing good during this campaign, or excuse me, during this during his presidency now, during his current presidency? Like, what has he done that he said he was going to do? He said he was going to cut costs. Have y'all seen any, costs being, have you seen grocery prices go down? Have you seen affordability go down? I'll tell you what he has been cutting: jobs and funding that was actually benefiting corporations and benefiting schools and benefiting HBCUs and benefiting children. Because look, we're seeing now, and I'm going to speak about this a little later on, we see now a shutdown of public broadcasts, public media. We're seeing a dismantle of public broadcast, which provides educational, which is unbiased news that folks looked forward to. Look, my friends, I'm past my time. I'm going off script today. We gotta take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll have more here on the Arrington Gavin Show. So please do not go anywhere and do not change that dial. You're listening to the Arrington Gavin Show.
Every man has a story to tell. Your ambitions, your achievements, your legacy. Your suit should reflect that story, crafted precisely, designed for impact, and tailored exclusively for you. We work with only the finest fabrics, luxurious wools, silk, linen, and blends from world-renowned mills in Italy, the UK, and India. These fabrics are the foundation of custom suits that exude elegance and stand the test of time. But a suit isn't just about fabric, it's about fit, and it's about confidence, and it all starts with you. When you work with me, you'll receive a personalized consultation, whether in person or over Zoom. Together, we'll explore your vision and discuss your needs, and we're gonna bring your ideas to life. My journey as a designer includes apprenticing under New York-based designer Clavon Leonard, showcasing collections at New York Fashion Week, Algeria Fashion Week, and the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. That experience is what we bring to every suit we create, from weddings to corporate events and everything in between. We specialize in crafting one-of-a-kind suits for life's most significant moments. Dapper Luke has been recognized as one of Baltimore's best menswear in 2023, and I was honored to be one of the 10 designers selected for the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. With over 900 satisfied clients, we proudly serve Virginia Beach and Baltimore, bringing world-class designs to these incredible communities. We don't just make suits, we craft confidence. Your suit will fit your body, your style, and it will tell your story. Book your free online personal consultation today. Visit www.dapperluke.com.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to
And we still in traffic.
I don't look familiar, do I? Not in this seat.
Hey, what's that you listening to?
Here to host today.
Hey, turn it up.
With me?
Yeah, this that new Goat Verse app. I got you.
So y'all want to know where the goats are? They're off on the sidelines.
Looking for fresh, relevant content wherever you go?
What was the name of that he said?
Introducing GoatVerse TV,
Goat Verse, that's what it's called.
the free streaming app that brings you the best podcasts, current events, and thought-provoking opinions all in one place. Download it now from the Apple Store or Play Store. In goats, we trust.
Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. Order our scented beard oils and beard balms to help you maintain and grow the perfect beard. Order today. Try our men's care products like the full body exfoliating cleansing bars, body wash, smooth stash, and more. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Rugged Evolution Beard Care. We're your luxury but affordable men's care line. And remember,
Rugged is the new smooth.
All right, my friends, what is happening? Welcome back to the Arrington Gavin Show. Let's get it going. What are we going to start with first? Let's see here. I want to start off. Let's talk about Kamala Harris. Because she has recently been, we have seen a lot of her in the public eye promoting a new book titled 107 Days. 107 Days, okay? And this book is about her, it's documenting her journey attempting to be the first woman president, first woman of color to be elected as president. And so it was so much juiciness in this story. Why? Because we know how the election went down this last go round. It wasn't pretty. I've literally gave you hours and hours of commentary of what I thought of the strategy of the Democratic Party, what I thought of former President Joe Biden, the how the process went. I mean, it was a lot. And let's kind of real quickly, let's kind of backtrack it. So you have Joe Biden, who is already elected as a quite older president, and I said this not to downgrade his career, because he's been a career politician and well put in his service for like over 50 years. But Biden was the almighty replacement. He was the guy to just anybody just please get Trump out of office. That's what the deal was. Folks cannot live through a back-to-back Trump year. They couldn't. So boom, here comes Biden. He goes and wins, and in office you see him kind of iffy. I think not even just that, during his campaign run, during his campaign, he had said that he was going to be a one-term president. He already made the announcement that he would not run again. He was elected in his when he finished office, he was 84 years old. For one, let's be honest, that ain't sexy to the public eye. That is not sexy to the public, seeing a person damn near 90 years old. That's right, I rounded it up. Really, well, 84. Once he at 85, then he rounded up. But he was 84 going on 90. And now he's over here teasing, well, I'm going to run for re-election. What? Out of everybody that's in the Democratic Party that's growing, building a platform themselves, you can't find not a nobody, neither could the Democratic Party. They want to, continue to be loyal and all this other junk. So you see him running. You see him and Trump have their first debate. You see Joe Biden freaking bombs on the stage. He does not sound at all really there, right? He's not he's I almost sound like how I am. He wasn't sounding as sharp as folks probably used to see him during his prime. It was not pretty. And the funny thing is, really, it made Trump look like the victor in that debate, but Trump ain't answering out a nay question. So it was like Americans was just like, oh gosh, we have got to do better. We have got to do better. So you had folks who wanted to run as a Democrat. At the time, you had Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's the current Health and Human Service Secretary. He was a Democrat. He was running as a Democrat in the early stages. Then he left and ran as an independent. You had a congressman out of, I think, Dean. Oh gosh, what was his name? Congressman out of Minnesota. Oh, it's good. I'm blanking on me, but there was a congressman that was running. There was Marianne Williamson, who had made an attempt before to run, and she ran again as a Democrat. Didn't come nowhere near close. And very short-lived. You had Cenk Uygur, the founder of the Young Turks, ran for president as in the Democratic Party, and so you had folks on the left that was making an attempt. Because Joe Biden teased the whole idea of running for re-election, he ended up coming out the race 3 months until the American people would elect the next president. He dropped out. And then boom, here comes Kamala Harris. She had 107 days. 107 days. I just mentioned to you that the average person running for presidency, they're campaigning, and this is just me, my opinion. I'm assuming just by the past folks that I've seen run for office, took them about 3 years. 3 years. Okay? 3 years of just campaigning. Kamala said, you had one guy, he ran for 10 years, and that was Donald Trump. And that's the truth, because, see, here's the thing. Donald Trump never conceded the election where he lost from Joe Biden. And he never stayed out of the public eye. He stayed doing his tours of him talking nonsense, him getting praise from people, him selling out. Like, it was weird. It was weird, but it was very on brand for Trump. And so he never stopped. Now you got Kamala Harris, where the majority, the Democratic Party as a whole was not in agreement. they're like, we have to have some form of a primary. We don't think Kamala Harris is that strong of a candidate. Let's not forget she did run for office before for president. Didn't even make it to Iowa, which is not a good look. So you're like, what makes you think that she is strong enough to run for office now? Because let's be honest, the vice presidential role, it is a big deal, don't get me wrong, in the world of politics, but how many vice presidents do you know that, matter of fact, I'm gonna look it up right here, but how many vice presidents do you know end up becoming successful presidents, or either, you know, ran and won a presidential race? Let's see here. How many past vice presidents, there we go, became presidents? There we go. Because Mike Pence was not a strong candidate when he was running during the Republican primaries. Let's see, who else? Al Gore, no. Dick Cheney, no. Let's see here. Okay, so they gave me, okay, so by election, there was 6 individuals, 6 former VPs that won an election and became president. Out of 47, there was 6. You had John Adams, who served under George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Martin Van Buren, who was VP under Andrew Jackson. Thomas Jefferson was under John Adams. Richard Nixon was Dwight Eisenhower's VP. George H.W. was Reagan's VP. And then lastly, Joe Biden, who was Obama's VP. So those are just folks who won, you know, an election. So now you come with giving an individual who wasn't seen prior as a strong candidate 107 days. Let's not forget she's a woman. Let's not forget she's a woman of color. Got to put that into play, because, hey, this is America we live in, y'all. And so she has to, for one, raise the money. She has to answer a lot of questions, because there were critics of hers back when she was an elected official in the state of California as a state prosecutor, vice versa, this and that and the other. And so there's been so many moments where people are like, this is where she, you know, messed up during her campaign. This is where she messed up during her campaign. This is where she messed up. And so recently she was on The View, which, you know, let's not, The View is a very liberal leaning talk show, and I'm not a fan of The View. I'm not a fan of, well, it's not the fact that I'm not a fan of the show. I'm not a fan of the format. I'm a fan of group discussions, but making it fair. So The View, you have, there's 6 women, and you have one registered Republican who is really a very liberal Republican. You have one that's left the GOP who was a conservative, but she sits in the conservative seat. Then the rest of them are very more liberal. You have one independent, but the rest of them are Democrats. But it give off the vibes of like, okay, all left, one right. That's what you get. And I'm not a fan of that, because it reminds me of that show, The Five. One liberal, all the rest of them are conservatives. That's not, to me, authentic. That's not an authentic conversation. It's a way to just bash on one person. Now, I would say this: The View has been more. They haven't been doing as bad as far as bashing the conservative like it used to be, like in the past, but they do lean, you know, left. They do lean very left. So when Kamala Harris was running for office, and I'm actually going to play you the soundbite that she had with Sunny Hostin, who's one of the co-hosts on The View. when Kamala Harris was on The View during her presidential run, she was asked, and I think this was like 28 days left, y'all. 28 days left until election night. Is there anything that you would want, that you would have made a change, or there's anything that you can well, that not regret. I'm trying to think of the wording. Basically anything that you would change from the previous election. She said no. A lot of folks didn't like that because, in all honesty, the left wasn't too happy with the way things were going. They were happy that Trump is not in office. But now during election season, people are going to keep you accountable, and they're going to be like, look, you got to do this. You got to do this. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? So let me go ahead and see if I can find that soundbite where Kamala Harris was on The View. Let's see here. Is this what I'm gonna play you a couple of sound bites. There we go. So this is the one where Sunny Holston, who is an attorney, I know she was a former commentator on CNN, and she is a very passionate progressive, if I might say. So she asked Kamala Harris this question while recently Kamala Harris was on The View promoting her new book, 107 Days. Let me play this for you and we'll talk on the other side.
Say everything about my appearance on The View was going well until it wasn't. And if you recall, you were here 28 days before the election. And I asked you if there was anything you would have done differently than President Biden during the past 4 years. And you said, quote, "There is not a thing that comes to mind," end quote. You write you had no idea, you just pulled the pin on a hand grenade. In the moment, I knew. The Trump campaign weaponized your answer against you, my question. And some, including James Carville and Jake Tapper, point to that answer as a turning point in your candidacy. Do you think that moment tipped the election?
No.
Good, because Sonny doesn't want to take the blame.
There was kind of a confessional happening here. No.
Solve you?
Exactly. No. There were many things. I mean, listen, I do believe one of the biggest deciders of the outcome of that election was that the American people were sick of things being so expensive.
Yes.
And wanted that the prices would come down. And that's where, this is part of why I wrote the book, which is, let's remember in those 107 days what Donald Trump was talking about. First of all, he said his number one priority and the number one thing he would do is bring down costs.
Yeah.
That's what he said. And I believe there are a lot of people who voted for him believing that that's what he would do. Fast forward to today.
Yeah. Hello.
Prices are higher. The cost of food is higher. Inflation is higher. Unemployment is higher. He lied.
Yeah.
He lied. Meanwhile, there are certain promises he did keep, which is he was going to weaponize the Department of Justice and go after his political enemies, that he was going to silence critics against him, that he was going to fulfill whatever his fragile ego needed through the tool of our federal government. That he did, whatever he needed to do to enrich himself, literally his pockets, not to mention his ego, he has done. And I think it's important as we move forward to realize that they did what they said they were going to do. I heard a story about a friend of mine was telling me about a Cuban American.
So that's where I'm gonna stop right there. So this is why, y'all, I first had said that I don't think Kamala Harris' political career is over. Okay, because here's the thing. And this is into answer to Stephen A. Smith. She still has a base. She still has a fan base. You don't have to believe it, but I'm telling you right now, she still has supporters on the left, maybe not so much that are the elites, but the voters and the people, they support her. Okay, now I know what you would say. Well, then in that case, why didn't some of them not show up for during election night? Hey, that's a question that I wouldn't know. You could say it was the fact that she had 107 days compared to somebody that gave it years of campaign. You could say that. You could say being behind somebody's she was in the Biden shadow. Where can you see her shine? Where do you really see her shine? I've said this time and time again, Kamala Harris was the most qualified. All right. And you hear her saying it right now. She said that, look, to me, I feel like that's a bit, I don't know. I don't think that she didn't catch that, because I always say this. Voters look at honesty. They look at your authenticity. Yes, the American people was speaking about, or was focused on, the economy. Who the hell is it? The economy is always going to be the number one. That's a common thing. But you have got to be honest and say, listen, this whole election cycle has been a crap show, because I get the call and I only got about 100, a little over 100 days to run for office. That's a lot. That is a lot. Let me read you a little bit about just some of the takeaways from her book 107 Days. So one is, hey, Kamala Harris believes that she was loyal to the Bidens, but feelings wasn't mutual. Now, I look at it like this. I'm sorry, but if it's like if the Bidens are like that, because see, the former First Lady Jill Biden is always going to stand by her man. Stand by her man. She's going to stay by her man. And she's going to say that she did not like the fact that everybody was telling her husband to step aside because they didn't think he was all the way there. Listen, you're going to be a supporter, but you have to be honest. The world could not, I personally could not see Biden running another race. I couldn't. More takeaways from this. She doesn't directly say that Biden shouldn't have run for a second term. Her first choice as running mates was Pete Buttigieg. Pete Buttigieg, which a lot of people probably wouldn't have minded that. A lot of people, he's a fan favorite. He's young. He's very quick in responses. Very smart. Damn good debater. She is still trying to tell her own backstory. That's another takeaway. That's the whole point of this book, is that she's continuing to let you hear from her side. Then the folks are asking, will you run again? Will you run in California? Will you run for president of the United States again? We will never know, but hey, I'm not here promoting the book. I have not purchased it. I'm not a book reader like that. I don't really read these post cabinet memoirs and stuff. It's kind of tacky to me. Well, not tacky. I mean, I get it. People know they gotta make a living after they leave office, regardless of what position they're in. So I get it. But I'm never the one to check them out. But I am quite curious. I might go ahead and check this out. For those who are watching, you see at the screen on the bottom, I have are folks sick of Kamala? Are you sick of Kamala? The reason why I brought this up is because CNN data guru Harry Enton had recently shared on CNN. He says the former vice president is much less popular now than she was at the election. Again, I would put him in the same boat with Stephen A. Smith. I just do not. I don't think you can put the full blame on her for that loss. I really don't. I really do not. Matter of fact, I want to play you another soundbite, and then I'll give you my reason why I don't think she should be the full blame for the election. Let me go ahead and play this second clip from when she was on The View. Let me pull this bad boy up. Here we go.
You think that you lost?
There are many factors, I think, that played into the outcome of that election. But I think probably one of the biggest in my mind is we just didn't have enough time.
You didn't have enough what?
time. We didn't have enough time.
Oh, yeah. Well, you didn't.
And, I mean, one of the reasons I wrote the book is this is unprecedented. Think about this.
Yeah.
That there's a race for president of the United States. The current sitting president is running for re-election. 3.5 months from the election, he decides not to run. The sitting vice president then takes the mantle, running against a former president of the United States who had been running for 10 years with 107 days until the election. And by the way, another piece of what is unprecedented and a bit historical about that race, it is the closest presidential race in the 21st century in terms of the outcome.
Wow.
Say
that again, because he likes to say over and over again, he's got a mandate.
And that's part of why I wrote this book, because history will talk about this race. It is part of American history. And it was important to me that when history is written.
So you heard former VP Harris say that, look, it was time. I did not have enough time. I did not. That's what I felt is the reason why we lost this race. Now, I would say this. I think it was obviously time. It was also staff. Honestly, I think the strategists really effed up during this campaign. The strategy did not make sense whatsoever. It did it. That's one thing I'll give the right. During campaign season, they had a better strategy. They knew exactly what to say. They pulled those sound bites, from some of her interviews that really affected her campaign. They went to the young people. They made sure they tried to rally up that young vote population, that young voting population, because when you pull an endorsement like Joe Rogan, that really helped. When you do a 3-hour plus interview on Joe Rogan's podcast, who literally has like tens of millions of listeners daily. Okay, he gets more listeners than freaking folks get on TV. And then you say, okay, Kamala, we're gonna go. Well, if Trump is going to Rogan, then we're gonna go to Club Shay Shay and all the smoke podcasts. Don't get me wrong, those are very popular podcasts, but those shows combined are not bringing in the numbers like Rogan. And so, me personally, I do believe that all folks should be attending all the outlets, right, left, centered. You need to attend everything. I don't care if you're tired. You got to attend everything. One thing that RFK did when he was running for office, even though he, later on he ended up endorsing Trump. So he went from starting off as a Democrat to leaving the Democratic Party, going as independent, now becoming, being a member of the Trump cabinet, endorsing Donald Trump. But RFK was everywhere. He didn't care if he was getting criticized. Hey, it's all about dialogue. He was everywhere. Now, let me go back to this article where CNN data guru Harry Enton shared why Kamala Harris is not popular now than she was during the election. So says here that this is reported by the dailybeast.com. Former Vice President Kamala Harris would be making a serious mistake if she launched another White House bid, as she is becoming increasingly unpopular with voters. The CNN top data analyst says the network's chief data guru, Harry Hinton, as I mentioned earlier, noted that Harris is less popular now than she was before losing in 2024, the 2024 election, dropping so much that she's now swimming with the fishes. Hinton has always been kind of like that, overly exaggerated. I mean, he's a very popular dude, don't get me wrong. Quote here, I quote him saying, if you want a messenger to go against Donald Trump, you could do far better as Democrats than Kamala Harris. Back in October of 2024, she was at minus 5 points. Now exactly great, but not exactly great, but pretty close to the 0 mark. But now down under she goes, he said. She at minus 13 points. That's 8-point drop since the general election among the overall electorate. She is not well liked at the particular point. And I want to ask you all, why is that? Why do you think that? Are you still like disappointed and wish she would have gave a little more during her race? Is that what it is? What do you think is the reason why her popularity numbers are dropping? Do you think now that Democrats are now looking to new faces? They're looking at the Jasmine Crockett's, they're looking at the AOCs, they're looking at the Zohran Mamdani's, they're looking at the Gavin Newsom's, they're looking at the Wes Moores. Is that what it is? That just her numbers drop because really nobody's keeping eyes on her anymore? That like, hey, look, she had a good run, but in the words of Stephen A. Smith, her political career is over. Is that accurate to say? Is that true? Again, I go back to strategy. So the Democratic Party is there was a story where I was sharing here on the show where they are looking for their next Joe Rogan. You know who they said their next Joe Rogan was or is they're trying to make? Jamie Harrison, the former DNC chair. What in the world? Jamie Harris, first of all, you don't bring in the chairman, the recent DNC chair who was leading. He was at the realm during this whole downfall of the Democratic Party in this previous election. He was at the top. He was the chair when the Democratic Party wanted to support Biden. He was in charge of when the Democratic Party refused to have some form of a primary. He was the one that was in charge. And now you want him to be the face? You want him to be the guy that is you want him to be the guy that is trying to be the liberal Joe Rogan? And wrong answer. I'm gonna tell you that right now. To say, does the Democratic Party have a liberal Joe Rogan? I personally don't think so. Let me see. Yeah, I really don't, because the thing with Joe Rogan is Joe Rogan really is liked by both sides. As much as folks that are not fans of him will say, no, I don't like him. He's liked by both sides. But, and I say that because he spent most of his years in California. Okay, a very liberal state. He made most of his career in California. Then all of a sudden, he left during the COVID era. He left, went to Texas, a red state, and he turned a Texan. He's, drinking the bourbon, smoking the cigars, not caring, very free. Loves the freedom out there. He opened a massive comedy club. He's now created a platform for up and coming comedians that are coming from those red areas. He's now built up a larger audience now from conservative folks. So he to say is he conservative? I think he's fair. I mean, he's big on cannabis. He's big on a lot of social issues. He is a multi-millionaire, but he does believe that, hey, when we make a certain amount, hey, there is a certain percentage that you got to give in taxes. Hey, that's fine. I was raised by not having a lot of money. So again, that's the kind of line he always toes. Now, there was a period where I used to catch Rogan always criticizing. I wouldn't say always criticizing the left, but he was talking a little more about liberal officials than conservative officials. And I'm like, okay, bro, you got to call a spade a spade. Like, don't be biased completely. Like, really, let's talk about such and such. You can't talk about one and can't talk about the other, because that's just you got to be fair in this day and age. You got to be fair. So what I see here is a desperacy from the left, right? They're desperate. They're trying to find what are going to be ways they can grow. What are there going to be ways they can earn the public's trust? What can they do to get back on top? Now, I think it's going to be a long, long time. I mean, really, they need to take use out of this current administration, because what's happening is crazy. Like, attack on freedom of speech, all these job cuts happening, all these funding cuts. I mean, it's so many issues that are happening right now. And I feel as though like the left is not capitalizing on it as they should. There's only but like a small handful of officials, but no one wants to stand behind them. The elites don't want to stand behind them. You had AOC and Bernie Sanders going this tour to predominantly red states, and they're progressives. The left's elite didn't like that. You see a guy in New York City who is leading. Yeah, he's progressive. Yeah, he's a socialist, but he's winning. He's winning. Obviously, people will see something in him that they love, that they want to see, and that they want to support. So I don't know, man. It's going to be a lot. Really, really quick, because I'm looking at my time here. I want to share this story, and I might need to push it on to our next show. Let me go and quiet that down. Here we go. So y'all know that there was a shutdown. There was going to be no funding towards. They were going to end federal funding to public broadcast media, and public broadcast had announced that they were going to be shutting down operations. So you got your NPRs, all your public media's radio stations and TV networks. You don't know what's next. Most of them have been just leaning towards public donations, being run by the public. And so when I read about this, I'm like, oh no, because I have a lot of friends that work in public media, and I hope to have some of them on to get their take on what their thoughts is going to happen. But this was recently shared. I'm reading this off the NewJerseyGlobe.com. New Jersey PBS shutting down in July. Okay. Says here that the New Jersey PBS is expected to cease operations in July 2026 following WNET's decision not to renew its agreement, and the New Jersey Globe has learned. So the decision comes after the federal government decided to cancel funding to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which funded WNET, the parent company of 13, the PBS New York affiliate. Now, unless they can find a new nonprofit funding source, New Jersey could be left without a public television station next year. I mean, come on. Now it's an attack on media. And PBS is not liberal. See, any news source that disagrees with Trump automatically becomes fake. They could agree with 10 things. If they disagree with that one thing, he's going to say, fake news, they're fake. They're part of the whole conglomerate of the fakeness in the news. They're not real. It's a witch hunt. It's a witch. Like, that's all he's going to be doing. New Jersey PBS employees have been called into staff meetings that was informed in the decision. It's not clear how this will affect the New Jersey Spotlight. New Jersey PBS, formerly known as New Jersey Network, has struggled financially over the past few years. They have already made 2 rounds of layoffs. Now, 15 years ago, Governor Christie ended 4 decades of state funding for public television station, forcing them to find a new funder. The state, well, Christie, why would you do that? I got a question to talk to him about that. The state cut to $750,000 in New Jersey PBS funding this year, but that was hardly the fatal blow that came for the end of the federal funds. Now, that's my thing, y'all. These funds, they're really good at that's hurting a lot of that's hurting a lot of HBCUs, as I recalled earlier. It's hurting a lot of local public media and grant funded public media. And here's the thing, PBS, man, I looked forward to PBS when I was a kid. I'm going old school for y'all. Y'all remember Arthur, Franklin, right? Those educational TV shows, man, those cartoons, that was me all day, every day. I loved it. And then you went on to watching programs that you just found so interesting. Like, shout out to one of my favorite radio shows. This is a weekly radio show based out of my home area, the Hampton Roads area. Another View. It's a weekly program where my dear friend Miss Barbara Ham Lee, who's an icon in the world of radio and media, she hosts a program on there that's I believe going on like 15 16 years now. And so it's a lot happening, y'all. And once again, I could talk more and more, but I'm looking at my time, and so we are running a little low. But check this out. Check out your, do me a favor, support your local public media. Please do, because you need that. Rural areas, y'all need that. How do y'all stay informed of what's happening in our country? How do you know what's happening in your state? Like, you just don't know. They're literally taking the narrative away from you. So please do me a favor, support, y'all. Be sure to tune in weeknights to the Arrington Gavin Show on all digital streaming platforms and radio airwaves. Be sure to vote. I'll see you next time. Peace and blessings. I'm out.
That's it for tonight on the Arrington Gavin Show. Thanks for tapping in and keeping the conversation alive. Don't forget, stay connected with us on all platforms. Follow at Arrington Gavin on Instagram, Blue Sky, and X, and subscribe to the official Substack for exclusive takes and deep dives you won't get anywhere else. We're here every weeknight, same time, same energy, same real talk. Until next time, stay bold, stay sharp, and stay true. That's what we do on the Arrington Gavin Show. Peace.